In the summer of 1945, the world was exhausted.
For 6 long years, World War II had consumed nations, destroyed cities, and taken tens of millions of lives. Europe had finally fallen silent after Nazi Germany's surrender, but in the Pacific, the war continued with brutal intensity. Japan, once a powerful imperial force, now stood weakened but unyielding. Despite devastating firebombing campaigns and massive losses, Japan refused to surrender. The United States feared that a full-scale invasion of the Japanese mainland would result in catastrophic casualties.
Potentially millions of soldiers and civilians on both sides.
Behind closed doors, the United States had been developing a weapon unlike any ever seen before.
Known as the Manhattan Project, this secret program brought together scientists, engineers, and the result was the atomic bomb.
They hoped it would end the war without the need for a deadly invasion.
And had been largely untouched by previous bombings, making it ideal for measuring the bomb's impact.
The bomb prepared for this mission was called Little Boy.
On the morning of August 6, 1945, the American B-29 bomber Enola Gay flew over Hiroshima.
In a blinding flash of light, the temperature at the center of the explosion rose to several million degrees.
Buildings, streets, and human beings were vaporized instantly.
A massive fireball expanded outward, followed by a towering mushroom cloud that rose high into the sky. Within moments, Hiroshima ceased to exist as a functioning city.
Those closer to the blast left only dark shadows burned into walls and pavements.
Fires spread rapidly, merging into a firestorm that consumed everything in its path.
By the end of the year, the death toll would climb to around 140,000 due to injuries and radiation sickness. Survivors wandered through the ruins in shock.
Their skin hung from their bodies, their hair was burned away, and many were blinded.
Hospitals had been destroyed, doctors were dead or injured, and medical supplies were almost non-existent.
Few understood what had happened. An invisible enemy, radiation, continued to claim lives in the day.
These survivors would later be known as hibakusha, people affected by the atomic bomb.
Despite the unimaginable destruction of Hiroshima, Japan did not immediately surrender.
Confusion, disbelief, and internal debate slowed decision-making within the Japanese government.
3 days later, on August 9, 1945, a second B-29 bomber flew toward Japan carrying a bomb named Fat Man.
Unable to sight primary, proceeding to secondary.
But Nagasaki's hilly terrain reduced its overall impact. Still, tens of thousands of people were killed instantly, and by the end of the year, approximately 70,000 lives were lost. Survivors suffered from severe burns, radiation poisoning, and long-term illnesses, including cancer. Families were wiped out. Children were orphaned. Entire communities disappeared. The shock of the second atomic bombing, combined with the Soviet Union's declaration of war on Japan.
In solemn words, he announced Japan's surrender. World War II was officially over.
The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki ended the deadliest conflict in human history, but they also opened the door to a new and terrifying era.
The world had entered the age of nuclear weapons.
The power demonstrated over those two cities showed that humanity now possessed the ability to destroy itself completely. Some argued that the atomic bombs saved lives by preventing a prolonged war and invasion.
Others believed the attacks were unnecessary and immoral, representing a crime against humanity.
These questions remain unresolved to this day.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki were rebuilt, but their scars remain.
Memorials stand where thousands once lived.
Survivors dedicated their lives to sharing their stories, warning future generations about the horrors of nuclear war.
Paper cranes, peace bells, and eternal flames now symbolize hope born from tragedy.
The story of Hiroshima and Nagasaki is not just a chapter in history. It is a warning.
As long as nuclear weapons exist, the shadows of Hiroshima and Nagasaki continue to